Ready.
I make sure I hit that first today. I keep forgetting to hit that a couple times, so we're gonna make sure we go ahead and lock that in. Let's see here. Right. Testing, going live. And we are live, gentlemen. All right, congratulations, everyone. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today to another edition of the Credit Masters Show. I'm your host, Emmanuel Michael, with Attorney Charles Irvin and Dr. Leslie Peters, coming all the way from Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, and Jackson, Mississippi. And we appreciate everybody taking time out of their busy schedule today to tune in to another edition of some fantastic information we're going to be giving to you guys. But as we get started, we want to definitely make sure that we give you all the pertinent information that you need in order to get in contact with us. Our phone number is 601-340-6800. Again, that's 601-340-6800. If you need to get in contact with Attorney Charles Irvin, that's how you can do it, guys. If it's something that we say on the show that you need some help with and assistance with, you definitely want to use that contact information so you can reach him at that number. Again, that number is 601-340-6800. You can also go to irvin-law.com or go to the Facebook page. Put your information in on the Facebook page. If you got Messenger on your phone, you can actually do it right there from the app on your phone. Send us a quick message. Somebody be in contact with you within 24 to 48 hours. Again, that's facebook.com/Irvin Law PLLC. Or you can reach us here at Credit Masters Live as well as creditmasterslive.com. Guys, another edition. How you guys doing today?
Doing great,
Excellent,
Emmanuel.
man.
How are you?
Good, man. We're on episode 12. Episode 12 today. Episode 12 is the new twist on ID theft. The new twist on ID theft called synthetic identity theft. So, folks, if you're suffering from fraud, if you're suffering from ID theft, you think someone is taking your information, you got things that possibly could be popping up on your credit report, you have no clue what it is. You possibly could be a victim of identity theft, and so we want to give you some tools, some strategies, and insights that you can utilize to protect yourself. Not only protect yourself, also to help you restore your credit if you've been a victim of that, because identity theft is one of the fastest growing crimes in America, folks, and it don't look like it's slowing down. With the age of technology, how things are changing, we got our information. We got a bank account right in our phones. We got Apple Pay and PayPal Pay. You got all these Google Pay. You got all these different devices and different things that are attached to our devices. So we got to be extra cautious in this day and age to protect our belongings, to protect our loved ones from identity theft. And thieves are lurking. They're always lurking. They're always looking for a way and a reason to get at you. So this new twist, Charles, that I want to talk about is synthetic identity theft. And synthetic identity theft, folks, is when they take one or two pieces of your information and they basically able to build a profile, create a whole nother person off one or two pieces of information. Charles, you familiar with that, right?
Very familiar with it. Very familiar with it. Now it's a offshoot of old school identity theft. What we in the profession call phishing or social engineering. Different forms of gathering one piece of the puzzle and starting to build a profile on the individual so that you can eventually assume their identity and create major purchases in their name. It's more common than you would think, and I can speak from experience on this. I had it happen to me. So
Wow.
you want to know that what I'm saying is not just in theory. I've seen it actually in practice. I had somebody gather some information on me when I first started practicing law in 1999, and they were able to get enough information to where they could alter some checks So it was not technology; it was sheer will of creativity back then. What they've done now is put the internet in the mix, and that gives them a faster way to gather. So I give you an example of that was an old example. Let me give you a modern day example. When you're on Facebook and people see information on you, they may take one piece. You may just have a first name, last name. They get that. They start building out from there. They go to your Instagram, they go to your Twitter, and they gather one or two little pieces of information. You may also get an email when they're spearfishing or doing other data mining techniques. It may seem like it's innocent, so you always want to look. This is just a practical advice. You always want to look at the sender because you may get an email that says Best Buy and it may look like it's from Best Buy, but it's really not. So you need to look at that email address because they'll have the logos, they'll have everything on there, and it'll look just right. And when you press open on that email, it starts gathering everything off of your computer. And so these are just practical tips, but I want people to be mindful of it because then once they have destroyed your credit, they're moving on, and you're left to pick up the pieces.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of the things that you can do in that regard is what we call follow the breadcrumbs. So if you get something using Charles' example from Best Buy, look at the URL, which is the link in your internet browser. If that link doesn't have Best Buy in it, then it's not from Best Buy. So you want to make sure you follow the breadcrumbs. That's another practical tip you can use to authenticate if the information is in fact coming from the source that it said it was.
That's correct. Because one of the things that they're doing is they want you to click on that. So they're going to make the email enticing. They're going to make it enticing. One of the alerts that went out, and I'll give my wife credit for this one, is that those online quizzes that they're doing on Facebook is a way that they dress up catching your information. So as you're answering questions about Star Wars or your favorite football team or what NBA player you most resemble, they're in the background gathering information off of your computer. So be mindful of those type things. That's just one example. There are many, many examples. Um, it used to be that you would just get the Nigerian email or the overseas email asking you to assist with a project. But now you may not even get that. You may just get something that's dressed up wholly as something totally different. Like I said, a quiz or something from a big box store, somebody that you do business with. And what that means is they probably already know that you do business with it or they're playing probabilities. And they want you to either, they think, well, I can get them to click on this because they do business at Best Buy. They buy stuff at Best Buy. Or, and so that's how they get in. And once they get in, they can make a mess really fast.
And another thing is, on top of that, I'm trying to find an article someone sent me the other day where they have these skimmers that they're actually placing these skimmers on the gas pump. And once you put your credit card in these skimmers, they're taking all your data and all your information.
Oh yeah, man, that was happening really bad in Dallas area. Even to this day, when I go to the gas pump, what you can do is reach your hand in there, and if you can put where you swipe your credit card, and if you can pull that out, you just tug on it a little bit. If it comes off, that's a skimmer. So you always want to get in a habit of doing that because it's not attached there. It's slid on, so it comes right off if in fact it's there.
Absolutely. So folks, you want to be mindful of that because, you would hate to work real hard, working on your personal credit, you could be in a situation where you're going through credit restoration and you get hit with ID theft. You definitely don't want to get in that situation, you know. So whether you're going through credit restoration, whether you have decent credit, you think you're doing all right, you don't want to get yourself out there where you're getting popped with skimmers or, you know, these phishing emails and things of that nature, and people open up bank accounts in your name. I got a friend of mine who actually a person went to school 4 years off his name,
Mm.
got the degree. Now what they gonna do with it, I'm clueless. But they got the knowledge. But they went to school and used his ID. 4 years of
Well,
college.
that's not all that I mean, Emmanuel, what they did, I mean, you would be surprised how common that is. I can think of a particular instance where someone that we know, and we won't mention any names, but they lived in the dormitory for a year and a half. They were in the yearbook, and as Biggie would say, it was all a dream. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't real. One was they didn't have a place to stay at the time, so they got the meal plan. They did everything that a student would do.
Wow. That's amazing. I never thought about anybody doing that one, but that's a new one on me.
Yeah, I mean, you hear all kind of stories. I mean, we're talking about the ease of technology, and I noticed that you wrote a really good article on the Internet of Things and how, you know, that integration, that smartphone in your hand, it can also cause a lot of problems if you're not careful in people gathering your information. Um, so let's talk. So, and some of these techniques still apply. Uh, Back in the day, they used to do what's called a dumpster dive. Because once your trash is out on the street, you know, they can go in it.
Yeah.
And they might find a clue in there. And it's really, you know, when you talk about commercial espionage and trade secrets, that's where it started. But then people started getting creative with it and saying, well, if I can do it on that large of a scale, then maybe I can scale it down and do it one house at a time. I like to be careful too about how you're broadcasting internet signals, because those public Wi-Fi is a setup. Because as soon as you get on that public Wi-Fi, you're opening your whole computer system up for somebody to walk in, take a look, see what they need, and then they can burn you. So that's the then and now. So, you know, that's just two examples. And I can go on and on all day. I mean, those are ways that can hurt you. I always say people post too much of their private information on Facebook. I'm a big believer in privacy, but what I mean by that is you have a First Amendment right to post whatever you want to post. But I have a rule in my house that if we are going out of town or somebody's going to be out of town, you post that after you get back.
That's right.
Yep. Absolutely.
Just another practical tip, because people will take that information and go by your house and eat your chips and take your TV and take your video, DVD, whatever they need. So that's a way that they burnt you on the ground. So that plays into identity theft as well. I mean, we talk about identity theft. I'm going a little bit off the script, but I just want to make people aware that all of these things affect you, and they can affect you for years and years to come. I had a client in 2001 who someone stole their identity. They opened up 3 charge accounts, and the people at Home Depot wouldn't honor the police report or the affidavit. We had to take them to court in order to get that stuff removed, because they said everything happened within the acceptable limits. They had signatures and everything, and guess what? The signatures matched up. You know,
Wow.
I'll never forget. We had to bring in a handwriting expert to show the small cues to show that it was a forgery, because they had done such a good job to the naked eye, you couldn't tell the original from the fake.
Wow.
And that was in 2001. Imagine the leap in technology from 2001 to 2017.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And folks, if you're suffering from identity theft, we definitely want you to call us, inbox us, so you can get the help. You see, we got the people that has the skills and abilities to assist you in that situation. So definitely call us at 601-340-6800. Go to urban-law.com, go to Urban Law Facebook page, Urban Law PLLC, as well as you can also reach us here at creditmasterslive.com. We want to get you the information that you need and the tools you need in order to get yourself over the hump if you've been a victim of ID theft. Now, Charles, I'm also going to say, I don't think you're going too far because that's all a part of systematic identity theft. That all goes hand in hand, even all the way to when you get rid of a computer. A lot of people say, hey, man, I just got me a new computer. I'm tired of this. I'm going to go pawn this computer. I'm going to go throw this one away. Folks, let me tell you something. The most deceptive thing on a computer is the delete key. Most people think that because you push the delete key and you erase it, that something is gone. Anything that you type in that computer system is never gone. Microsoft, I'm going to give you another tidbit information. From an electronic discovery standpoint, Microsoft Windows 10 has something built in it called keystroke. They are monitoring every single thing that you type, let alone everything that you're typing is being stored into your hard drive of your computer. So only way you're going to delete or get rid of something like that is if you reformat that drive and overwrite that information. And until that file gets overwritten, it's still going to be there. So you can you can purchase you a new computer, a new laptop. I tell a lot of my clients, be sure that you delete, not just delete, that you reformat that hard drive before you sell it or you give it away or do anything like that. Because if you got any incriminating information or spousal incriminating information, whatever it is, you want to make sure you get rid of that. With all fun and game, we're joking, but it's very serious because people can take your information, folks, and like we said, they can recreate you and they'll have you living in a whole nother state, messing up your credit. And as soon as they max out those cards, they gone, and you sit there and you got to sit there and deal with the backlash of something that you didn't even do. And like Charles just said, he had to take Home Depot to court just to try to get this off one of his clients back. So you don't want to get caught up in a situation like that.
Emmanuel, I just want to jump in right here and also add the key to this is if you're checking your credit report, I tell everybody you should have access to your credit report all year long with some service, one or another. And if you're checking your credit report on a monthly basis, you will know about these things much quicker and ahead of time and be able to cut them off. What happens is they're able to do all of this under the pillar of darkness because nobody's checking their credit report. Nobody knows. And so until you go somewhere and you get declined for something, that's when people usually find out, like, wait a minute, what's going on with my credit? Secondly, if you are a victim of identity theft, the first thing you need to do is call the police to get a police report. And the second thing you need to do is call us. But just make sure that you are checking up on your credit and make sure you know what's going on with your credit and your credit profile at all times. So if something like that is happening, you can cancel those cards and you can surprise the thief and shut them down.
And the worst situation, Leslie, is individuals who don't even know they're a victim.
Right.
It's a lot of people right now that's getting hit with ID theft and they're clueless that's happening. It's going on. So I've seen some where the criminals they are actually paying the bills and building the credit just for that big payoff.
Oh, it's no doubt about it, man. Let me just tell you, since I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about different things that I've encountered over 18 years of practice. And I want to touch on two things. You talked about overwriting hard drives. So once upon a time, I was a federal prosecutor, and I tried a couple of child pornography cases and put some people in jail for a good amount of time. And one of the things that came up that always comes up in those cases is the deletion of evidence. I've
Right.
seen it firsthand, so I can talk about it on the identity theft side, but from a technology standpoint, I've seen it firsthand how the techs pull out the hard drive and they mirror the hard drive, and then they take it and put it in a different computer and they pull up those bits. It's ones and zeros to them, and they reconstruct everything that's on there. Those keystrokes go from ones and zeros to A, B, C, D. Then they turn into pictures and they turn into videos. So it's amazing what technology can do. I've seen it firsthand. The other thing that I would say, you're absolutely correct when you say, when Leslie says monitor your credit. Um, there was a case out of Baton Rouge recently where a young man was doing credit repair all over the United States. And one of the things he was doing is going on the dark web. For those who are not familiar with uh, the dark web, there's the internet that we use, and then there's the internet that others use. The dark web is just what it sounds like. It's a lot of shady deals going on where you can buy all the illegal stuff you can think of.
Drugs, everything.
Yeah, you can buy, weapons, drugs, human trafficking is happening over there. But one of the other things that's going on over there is you can batch buy, meaning you could buy a large number of IDs. And so the case out of Baton Rouge, I think the total damage on that case was in the $5 million range. He was repairing
5.6.
yes, he was repairing credit, and what he was doing was selling people what he called an alternate ID. You start using this as your ID, and their credit magically cleared up. And so the moral of the story is he was buying children's social security numbers and repurposing them. Now he was buying them for cents. He was buying them for cents on the dollar, and he was selling them to his clients. I think he sold one to a church in Michigan or Ohio for roughly $4,000. They didn't know. They took him at his word.
Right.
And so that's why I always say this, and I think I've said it in numerous episodes now. We are transparent in our process because we want you to understand that there are many people in the business who are not. And so that's why I like to just put the information out there and let people get it, digest it, look at these as many times as you need to until you feel comfortable. Because there are people out there who do things in this industry that are way wrong. That is not us.
Absolutely, folks. And so go ahead, folks. You definitely give us a call at number 601-340-6800. Go to irvin-law.com. Go to creditmasters.info. Put your information in on both of those websites, guys. If you got any questions for either one of us, we'll be back in contact with you within 24 to 48 hours. Who knows? You may actually even end up talking to one of us. So, we definitely want to be there for you to help you along the way to get over your situation that you got with your personal credit. And one thing that you sparked something that happened a couple of years ago, Charles, when I was actually living in Dallas, Pete. It was a big fraud ring going around where they were actually stealing children's social security cards because the birth certificate and the social security card, they're not matched up.
Right.
So they don't have a date of birth with that social security card. You can go get a social security card tomorrow if you never had one.
Right.
And you can be 22, 23 years old. So the social security card doesn't match up with that birth certificate. So it was a pediatrician office that was actually getting targeted, and they was just taking all that data and information out of there because they had somebody on the inside. So it's all kind of stuff that happens like that. And you never know, when you turn 17, 18 years old or 21 years old, you're trying to get yourself together and you realize you got all this credit in your name. If mom and them didn't do it, you got all this credit in your name. Now you're jacked up and you're messed up. So that's even more reason for you to call us. If you know somebody that's been suffering from these credit dilemmas, give us a call, folks. Again, that number 601-340-6800, 601-340-6800. I also got some guys I want to share with you all, with the people here. I got 10 steps or 10 tips that they can utilize to prevent ID theft. And we can sit down, we all can go through these together because I wanted people to have this on the screen, just some tidbits of information they could utilize if I can get it to work. Okay, there we go. Got a little lag here. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still, there we go.
Okay. First of all, if you lose your wallet, purse, or credit card, contact your car issues right away. And that goes back to what Leslie was saying. You need to call the police. Go get a police report. That's number one. Okay.
Mhm.
Number two, avoid using ATMs in obscure locations because it's easier for thieves to install skimming or skimmers. Devices on them that steal your information when you swipe your card. We just talked about that. Okay. These are tips, folks. Check your account statements for errors. Check your bank accounts, check your credit cards, any accounts that you have out there. I had my wallet stolen a couple of months ago. Me, myself, I was a victim of that ID theft, but I was on it that night. And man, you wouldn't believe the thieves start using my card within 10 minutes of me dropping my wallet outside on the ground at the gas station.
Mhm.
So you want to make sure you're checking your accounts for error. Look for mistakes on your credit report. Y'all stop me anytime y'all want to go through any of this stuff. Respond to calls or letters from your bank. No, a lot of times we have a tendency, when you're suffering from lack of money, bad credit, we have a tendency that we don't want to answer the phone for whatever reason. But guys, that is important that you need to answer your phone. It's your phone. You pay your bill on it. You need to answer that phone because
Well, now, Emmanuel, we know the reason we don't want to answer the phone.
we owe
know
somebody.
but,
So
but
but if you don't do that, you can open yourself up for identity theft. And, it's something you could have possibly caught on the front end that you didn't catch because you just procrastinated. You didn't do it. Next thing is follow up on odd bills you receive. You get some bill in the mail, you don't know where it come from. Hey, you want to follow up on that, see where it comes. Don't just assume that your husband or your wife did it. You guys want to make sure you're communicating, keeping up with your things because that's another sign that you could possibly be a victim of ID theft. Okay. Stay on top of missing mail. Okay. If you're not receiving bank statements, it could be possible that these thieves have gotten your information and re-forwarded your mail to their mailbox now. They have these drop sites out here where they have drop sites. They can send your information to a drop site. Next thing you know, your stuff on the dark web being sold. Okay. Follow up if you receive unexpected mail. This could be a signal as well. Change your address, like we just said. Look out for errors on your Social Security statement of account. Investigate if you're denied funds based on your credit and investigate the reason for the denial. It's mandatory pretty much now, Leslie, that they send you a denial letter. If you get turned down for credit, according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, these guys got to send you a denial letter. They tell you, what bureau they use, where they pull from. Some of them even give you the score when they pulled it. Okay. So you want to make sure that you keep track of these things. And if you're not keeping this stuff in a file cabinet locked away, shred it. Get you a simple shredder, shred that information, guys. And that's all I got on that. For those are my tips for making sure that you are protecting yourself from identity theft. Those are a few tips that people, you can actually look at this video when we finish, go back over it and make sure that you write those down and follow those steps. Go ahead, sir.
one more thing I was going to say, you can, with your credit card issuer, you can set up alerts that every time a charge is made, you get a little text alert. It's always important if it's over a certain amount, and you can set the amount threshold. I was sitting having dinner with my family in Dallas, and I get this alert that comes across that says at the same time, I'm in Foot Locker in Arlington, and I've just purchased $258 worth of tennis shoes. Now, obviously, if I'm sitting in North Dallas eating dinner, with the family, I couldn't be in Arlington at Foot Locker at the same time. So immediately, the alert came through. It said, "Is this transaction yours?" I said no. It immediately froze it. I immediately was able to cancel the card, and they were able to actually catch the person before they even left the mall. So, you know, those are little things you can do that keep you in the loop of what's happening with your credit.
Absolutely. And that's why you want to call Irvin Law folks, because situation that happened with me when I lost my wallet, even though I know all the steps to take, Charles, I immediately went to pull the feed. I want to pull the the camera feed from the gas station. I demanded the tape. They wouldn't give it to me. I was mad. They told me I had to go to the police. I don't need the police. I'm like, because the guy, he was just here 5 minutes ago. I need to know who it was, because I probably can catch him. My wife said, "And what you gonna do when you catch him, fool?" I don't know, but I'm gonna catch him.
Yeah,
But they're not gonna give it to you. You're gonna. That's why you need an attorney, guys. They'll give it to an attorney, they'll give it to law enforcement, but they're not gonna get that information to you, because if something happens, you go after these people or you do something on your own because you upset, then the store can be liable as well. So that's why it's important to make sure that you're working with a team like Irvin Law. Even if you're going through our credit restoration program, you get hit with identity theft. You in the right area where it's a simple phone call to reach out. We can talk to Attorney Charles, and he can guide you in the right direction on what needs to happen next.
that's absolutely correct. Schedule a consultation. Give me a call. Let's talk about your issues. But you both bring up compelling. We could talk about this for days and days, because even though these are isolated incidents, they happen all over America. On every minute, somebody's identity has been tampered with, and you have to watch.
Mm-hmm.
You have to watch not only the technology piece, but you have to watch the person piece, because a lot of identity theft, believe it or not, is social engineering, where people find a way to get in and get information. It could be as simple as Leslie sitting in that restaurant and somebody walked by him with a card scanner and scanned his pocket. It could be that simple, because the technology is there. All they do is figure out how to hotwire an iPhone or a smartphone and hold it up to the pocket and get your information. That's why there's a market now for magnetically sealed wallets, because it's easy and it doesn't take but a second. They don't need the physical card. All they need is the digital imprint.
Mm-hmm. That's
So
right. That's
just
right.
be mindful. Just be mindful of that. I think Emmanuel's done a great job of pulling together those 10 tips. One thing that came to mind when you check your bank statement, if you know you hadn't had any purchases on your bank card or credit card, for you have a series of 20 cent, 30 cent, 40 cent, somebody has put you in what's called a snail, and they're doing that to a whole bunch of people, and they're pulling it down at very innocuous amounts that you could live with, that you really say, well, I'm not bothered by that. But when they hit you for the big one, then it's too late. But what they're doing is checking. It's no different than a credit card verification done at an honest business. They're verifying that you have funds, and they do it over and over and over, and they build, at a certain point, 30 cents adds up if you do it enough times.
Yeah,
and if you let it go unchecked, they may come back for $1. They may come back for $2, and before you know it, they've cleaned you out. So be mindful of all those things. We're not saying all this stuff. Let me just say this so we're clear. I don't want anybody to watch this and say, "Oh, they're trying to scare us into doing business with them." No, we want to give you the information so that you can be educated on what can happen and what to look out for. It's no different than having the rules of the road and knowing how to drive your car. You want to wear a seatbelt when you're going down the road. You want to have an umbrella when you're walking outside. We're giving you credit tips on your identity at this point in this episode, because we want you to be aware.
That's right. That's right. Any final words, Leslie, before we get out of here?
No, I think you've done a great job, and I think we've laid it out pretty simple for everybody.
Great, folks. So again, people, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions from any of the information that we discussed today on today's episode, feel free to give us a call at 601-340-6800. Go to urban-law.com. Go to creditmasterslive.com. We also want you to go to changemyscores.com. Again, it's changemyscores with an S.com. You can take advantage of the emergency stabilization kit. That emergency stabilization kit is there to help you get your credit stabilized if you're in a situation where you need immediate results. If you need something to happen right now, go ahead and get that emergency stabilization kit. Then give us a call so you can enroll in our credit restoration program. It's only $50 down to get started, and $49 a month for our standard plan, and $69 a month for our elite plan. And folks, we're going to make sure we help you get in a position where you can get the best credit possible for your current situation. And what we're going to do, we're going to help you challenge and assist you in challenging 100% of all the negative items on your credit report. We do that by using a law called the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And the Fair Credit Reporting Act is designed to assist you and I as the consumers and protect us from the big three credit reporting agencies, predatory lenders, and things like that. Okay. These big three credit reporting agencies, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, their job, and they're required to follow so many steps per item before placing anything negative on your credit report. So anything that's negative, inaccurate, erroneous, or obsolete can come off by using this law, using our program. And because we use the law, once it's off permanently. You don't have to worry about it popping back on there again. We're going to customize all your disputes for you and your investigations and make sure these folks are following the law and doing their job. It doesn't matter if you're suffering from foreclosure, bankruptcy, student loan, charge off, late pays. Folks, your credit reports need to be restored, and we're here to help you here at Urban Law and Credit Masters, folks. So with that said, we definitely appreciate you tuning in today for episode 12. Tomorrow, episode 13, is going to be the actual due date. Leslie going to take that topic. He's going to run with it like a scalded dog. I know he is. So tomorrow's episode is the real due date, folks. I can't wait. I look forward to it. So we appreciate you. Go ahead and like this page. Go ahead and like this. Share this to your page. Share this with your friends. Share this with all the people that you know that can possibly utilize this service. And with that said, folks, our motto at the Credit Masters is the results are real.